The next speaker is our brother from Ingushetia, Chamil Albakov. Chamil, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, dear members of the European Parliament, dear deputies of the Naroda, all the participants of this conference, dear delegates of the representatives of the fraternal Caucasus people, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I express my thanks to the organizers of this conference, in particular Anna Fotiga, who was, and other members of the European Parliament, as well as the deputies of the Naroda of Ukraine, and of course the representatives of the government of Chechen Republic of Ичкерия. Also, special thanks to Rafael Glucksmann, who was with us this morning, for having gently agreed to take part in this event. This is an historical and significant event. At the moment, there is the biggest war since the Second World War going in Europe. The full-scale Russian aggression against Ukraine, where Ukrainian civilians and Ukrainian soldiers who defend their states sacrifice their lives every day. At the same moment, bloody hostilities have resumed in the Middle East, where more than 10,000 people have already been killed in less than 20 days, including almost 5,000 children. We express our pain and compassion to the families and friends of all those who died and continue to die from injustice and brutal violence. Thousands of rallies and protests are taking place all over the world. People are demanding effective solutions. The functioning of the UN Security Council is at a standstill. This body does not solve all these catastrophic and terrible situations and is not able to make the big countries respect the basic human rights and its own resolutions. Small, defenseless people like ours and countries are left without any help or support and are subject to persecution, genocide, and eviction. All this should inevitably lead to changes in geopolitics. The President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, spoke about this in one of his addresses. In this context, our region must prepare for change also. The acquisition of independence and statehood by the people of the North Caucasus is a necessity for our self-preservation and, in fact, inevitable. Therefore, right now, we must think about tomorrow and strive to restore historical justice, which consists in restoration of the confederation of people of the Caucasus, recognition of its legitimacy, and all possible support for this project. 105 years ago, representatives of the people of the North Caucasus made that right decision through legitimate democratic electoral processes. They recorded the will of our people for independence and unity and achieved brilliant diplomatic results. And this is precisely what needs to be taken as legal basis today, and not all those artificial referendums and so-called elections held at gunpoint and under the pressure of state terror, which Russia shows to the world as evidence of our so-called desire to live within it. Since the Bolsheviks established control of the territory of the Mountain Republic in the beginning of the 20th century, the people of the Caucasus have regularly been subjected to repression. In particular, the Ingush people went through unbearable and deadly trials. Being an extremely small people, always repression put the very existence of the English people under a clear threat. From the very beginning, from the 20s, the English people felt all the horrors of the Red Terror. Dispossession, exile in Siberia, arrest and murders of religious figures, closure of mosques, persecution of political opponents. Then came the repressions of the 30s. NKVD employees under the control of the Stalinist regime killed thousands of people without trial or investigation. and all of it culminated in the complete deportation of Chechen and Ingush to Siberia and Central Asia, 23 of February 1944. For 13 years, the people survived and tried to save themselves from complete extinction. And only after the death of the dictator and maniac Stalin, after the demands of the international community, our people were allowed to return to their homeland. And then, in the years of 90s, everything started again. In the fall of 1992, ethnic cleansing was carried out in the very cradle of the English people in the Prigorody district. 70,000 English were forcibly expelled from their homes by Russian troops and local criminal gangs. Hundreds of people were killed, disappeared, and tortured to death. And then the true aggression against the fraternal Chechen people and all the consequences of the so-called operations to restore the constitutional order and the so-called anti-terrorist operations throughout the North Caucasus. Thousands of English killed in Chechnya itself, hundreds of detained, killed and missing, or at best sentenced to long prison terms. Here is the whole history of the English people over the past 105 years. It's unthinkable to even suppose that continuing to live within the Russian Federation is a voluntary choice of the people who have experienced all these atrocities. On the contrary, exactly what we are voicing here today is the aspiration and desire of our people throughout the history. Ask those who died in Siberia. Ask those who are being tortured. Ask the parents of murdered children, the relatives of missing people. We speak precisely on their behalf. We speak precisely in their name. Today, we are obliged to do everything to prepare a political basis for the restoration of statehood of the people of the Caucasus. Today, many representatives of our people, Chechens and English, live in different countries in East and in the West, and show the highest ability to adapt to any type of society. They study in the best educational institutions, secular science and also the science of religion, and we are confident that this potential and this experience will help us in the development of our states and our region. The most necessary resource of any state are its people, and our people, hardened by all repressions and persecution, having gone through all the difficulties of exile, surely have enormous potential and motivation for the development of their countries, if they are given such an opportunity and provided with security and minimal support. All people of the Caucasus must realize that only in the union do they have a future. Having equal rights for everyone and their own sovereignty and independence, the people of the Caucasus must create favorable conditions for everyone. Today, Ingushetia is the most densely populated region after Moscow and St. Petersburg. But in all respects, it is the most backward in Russia. Unemployment, interruptions of electricity and water, lack of infrastructure, low standard of living. There is almost no industrial development at all. The region is completely dependent on state subsidies of Moscow. The Republic does not have its own constitution working. Elections for the head of the Republic are cancelled, and the head of the Republic is appointed by Moscow. We call on all the forces of our people, in particular everyone in the diaspora, English and Chechens, Circassians, and other Caucasians, to realize the need for the political platform of the Confederation of the North Caucasus, to take part by all available legal methods in the restoration of our statehood and preparations for the liberation of our region. We also call on all our partners and allies in Ukraine and in the other Western countries to support this project and provide it with all possible assistance. Ingushetia, the Chechen Republic of Ичкерия, Circassia, and the entire Caucasus will be free. They will be as prosperous pearls among the two seas, with the permission of the Almighty, who has gifted us a beautiful land and an incredible human potential. Thank you for your attention.